Thank you for joining us for Channel 97. I'm Josh Hansen.
And I'm Martin Brownstone. In today's lineup, we'll be featuring another school board candidate interview, winter sports wrap-up, and we'll take a look at the upcoming spring sports season.
But first, here's a review of last week's annual FFA week. With the story, here's Mike Fergus.
February 20th to 26th was National FFA Week. Schools around the nation participated in various agricultural-related activities to promote the FFA organization. I caught up with chapter officers Katie Ross, Chad Bainub, and Aspen Bude to review their FFA Week experiences.
Long, strenuous, and group.
Yeah, we had a few FFA Week committee meetings before FFA Week. We figured out what we were going to do for dress-up days and stuff like that.
And we had to approve it with Mr. Chambers, so Dan had a meeting with Mr. Chambers and discussed that.
We also asked members what their favorite activity was.
Hat day.
Selling
Just get
shakes.
to wear a hat.
I don't know, I think the emblem flying, that's going around and around the whole school is pretty cool.
Didn't you do it?
Shh.
The members also gave reasons on why you should join FFA.
It's the best group ever.
It expands outside of the school and the classroom, and it's not just for farming.
It builds up your leadership abilities and turns you into a better leader.
It's the best group ever.
We caught up with FFA President Dan Anderson.
I haven't read the article yet, but
About like 3 months ahead of time we start coming up with ideas of what we want to do and if we have any new ideas or anything. And we have a group of members that meet every week to talk about the different activities and if we're going to change anything with them. And we try to do our best at the activities that we choose.
We also asked Dan what his favorite part of the FFA week was.
My favorite activity is probably the Ag Olympics because you get to have different students come up and take part in the activities. And it's another way to show students at our high school some different things that FFA members do.
Well,
Finally, we asked why Black River Falls High School students should consider joining FFA.
FFA is an awesome organization that does a lot of different things in the school as well as with the community. And you get to go to different conferences and conventions and meet new people and talk to people from around the state, and you can become friends with state officers and you can get to know them better.
This past week was a success for the Black River Falls FFA. They worked hard to show students that there's more to their organization than meets the eye.
What a great story. Did you happen to buy a famous FFA shake in honor of FFA week?
Not this year, but they are pretty delicious, I must say.
Did you know that this was the last FFA week we'll celebrate?
Wow, yeah. That's right. Besides, the last FFA week, winter sports are coming to an end. With the story, here's Sydney Hartner.
With the winter sports season winding down, I had the opportunity to sit with 2 seniors and reflect on their seasons.
It was okay. We might not have done so well, as in like statistics, but we really bonded as a team, and we got along really well, and we really love each other.
When reflecting on his career, Sam Ripp had 2 memorable moments that will stick with him forever.
Probably when I was in 8th grade, I hit a half-court shot to win the game, and getting a technical foul in my sophomore year was pretty notable.
With the senior year winding down, Samantha Barr thinks about who she will miss.
I can't say who I would miss the most, because I'm going to miss all of them so much, and I will come back and visit them and watch them play. And what was the other part of the question?
What will you miss the most?
I will definitely miss the bus rides. Even if our bus is broken and freezing, we still make it a fun time.
With being on the road and the long nights, Sam Ripp has someone special to thank.
I'd have to say my mom. She hasn't missed a game from when I was ever. So she's been there with the hard times, and really appreciate her always sticking out for me.
Wow, what a great story, Sid.
Thanks, TK. With the upcoming conclusions of winter sports comes the beginning of spring sports. With the story, here's Sam Ripp and Aaron Miles.
As the winter snow melts away, the spring sports start to prepare for their upcoming seasons. Sam Ripp and I had the chance to catch up with some of the coaches and participants of each team.
On the softball field, Coach Ricken has high hopes for competing, as long as she can find a few replacements for some graduated seniors.
On the varsity level, we are looking for a shortstop and a catcher to replace seniors that left last year. If we can replace those two, we should have a pretty solid infield, and with pitching that we've had in the past, we should be very competitive.
Over on the tennis courts, Coach Rukavina sees a large number of returning players as an advantage and believes this factor will help the Tiger tennis program succeed.
Before the season starts here, it's looking like we have a fair amount of players returning. We did not lose that many seniors last year, so we have a pretty good returning group of kids this year. So I think we're going to do pretty well in terms of returning students.
As the Tiger track team prepares to run, jump, and throw, senior track athlete Erica Olson is wishing for higher numbers and a more successful season than last year.
This year I really hope that we get a lot of girls that come out for track and that we have a better season than last year, and hopefully we can place in some meets.
While the Tiger baseball players start throwing and preparing for the season, Coach David Johnson sees the camaraderie between the teammates as an advantage, but knows there needs to be improvement in areas in order to compete.
The main thing, we're going to have a good group of kids that get along well together, so that isn't going to be a problem. We're going to be a true team. The main thing will be how has our pitching improved. That's what I'm looking forward to seeing, because that's going to be key to our success is our pitching.
Hitting the green, Tiger golfers will be young this year, but sophomore Alec Muth has confidence they will be good.
I think the team will do pretty good, actually. I guess we'll just have to see.
All sports teams this year are looking forward to their seasons, and we wish them the best of luck.
Man, I'm excited for spring.
Me too. School board campaigns are fully underway. Here's another interview from Josh Hansen this week with Mark Thomley.
All right, so let's start with a little background. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I was born in Black River Falls. I'm 50 years old. I'm actually a resident of Hickston. I live out in the country. I'm married. I have 2 children. I'm a business guy here in Black River Falls. I have an office on Main Street, and I own some rental properties in Black River Falls.
Okay. Why have you decided to run for the school board, and what makes you qualified to serve on the board?
Well, that's an interesting question. I ran when I saw there was an opening after Ronald Wirtz had left his position early in the school board. So I went through the interview process. I think there were 6 or 7 of us, and I was elected by the current school board to fill in that position. And to me, it was kind of a trial run. I don't think you know what being on the school board is like until you're on the school board. And I really enjoyed it. It's been a good learning experience for me. It's been a positive experience for me. I've been real pleased with the staff, the school, the students. And so I've decided to run in the election coming up. I think I've been getting up to speed this last year, and I hope the community allows me to continue in the process.
So what is your philosophy of education? So what should a school do?
What should a school do? Boy, that's a broad question. I believe the school should prepare the youth for the future. They should prepare the youth to decide which direction they want to go. I think in the time frame we have as a school district with the youth or the children, it's kind of limited as to what we can do. I think we need to give them the basic core education, and then from there they can decide which journey in life or which direction they want to go, whether it continue on to higher education or go right to work. That's the best I can answer.
Okay. How would you plan to deal with budget shortfalls?
Well, that's never pleasant. I am a business guy, and some of the decisions will not be popular. You cannot please everybody. I guess I'll take each situation as they come, and so I can't totally answer that question now until I see what's brought in front of me. But my primary goal is the education of our youth, and I'll have to weigh the pros and cons of any decision that's brought in front of us, and my goal is to protect that part.
Thanks for joining our broadcast. Make sure to check out the entire interview of school board candidate Mark Thomley after the credits. That's it. I'm Josh Hansen.
And I'm Martin Roundstone. Stay fearless, Black River Falls, because there's a giant monster outside the building.
Now there are families who feel disenfranchised from our schools. What would you do as a board member to help strengthen the ties between those families and the district?
Yeah, that's another good one. I'm on a committee, public affairs, public relations too, and we're working on that. I grew up, I think, in a different time. I went to Black River grade school here to second grade, then we ended up moving to a small community at Taylor. That's where I went to grade school and high school. And I felt part of the community, part of the school when I was there. And I found it kind of disappointing and frustrating when I hear people talk bad about the Black River Falls School District, because I don't think it's a bad school district. How do we get people more involved in the school system? I think it's work in progress. I think we have to improve our image. I think we're trying to do that. I think unfortunately sometimes in the media just the negative stories get put out, not enough of the positive stories. And I think we have to work more on educating the community about the positive things that there are, and the positive people and staff and students like you guys that are here in this school. And we have to do a better job of PR. We need to run the school, at least the way my brain thinks, a little more like a business, and brag about our school when it needs to be bragged about, and fix things when they need to be fixed.
Good. How do you think you would promote our school district to attract families through the school choice program?
Boy, that's another tough one. Well, different things, like we had a teacher of the year. Them are things, them stories need to be told. I would like to have more information put out about some of our staff members. I don't know all of the staff members. I meet people on the street or in the store, and then I find out later they're an instructor or a teacher here. And I didn't know that, and I'm on the school board. So I think we do a poor job of showcasing some of the talent we have here as teachers. And I would like to do more of a PR stories, I don't know, in the paper once a week or once a month, featuring some of our staff. Little stories about them, a little history about them, and how long they've been here, what they teach, and what are some of their credentials. I think if the public was more aware of the quality of some of our staff, they wouldn't be considering going to other schools. So basically, we need to do a little better job, I think, in PR and promoting ourselves.
Okay. So if you had to choose 2 or 3 priorities that the district should focus on, what would they be?
Well, these are tough questions. They're so broad. You know, to spit them off the top of my head, that's kind of tough, but something that comes to mind that bothers me and I was unaware of until I got on the school board is drug use. Drugs have no place in life, period. But yet to see them in middle school is very upsetting to me. And to see the expulsion that I've had to set in the age of these kids, I want to make more of a focus to try to pay attention to that, to learn about it, to try to stop it. So that's an area. What was the rest of that?
Just 2 or 3 priorities that the district should focus on.
Well, you know, I look at our school district too, and I scratch my head at the age of some of the buildings, how we're spread around in this community. Again, this is my first year on the school board, the first year really getting involved in it, and I scratch my head and go, couldn't we be more efficient? Instead of having duplicate food service staff spread around in 3 different buildings, 4 different buildings, why can't things be consolidated? I wish we had a brand new school. I know that's a sour point, taxes and costs, but if you took all of that away, I think we would all love to have a brand new school. I believe the school is really the image and the core of what a town is. When people come to a community for employment, the first thing they do if they have children is drive over and look at the school. It's our pulse, it's our heartbeat of what a community is. So I think we need to prioritize the school. And I don't know whether building a new school is in the picture. We touched on it a little bit, how I feel about it. Yes, I'd love a brand new school. How do I feel about paying for it? Don't want to. So there we are, and we'll scratch your head as that comes along.
So currently there's continuing discussion about student assessment and grade retention. What's your philosophy on student assessment and grade promotion?
Yeah, that one's, it's a tough one too. You're throwing tough ones at me today, man. Do I get an easy one pretty soon? You know, education, this is my opinion, is a tough one to keep score on. I know you have to give grades to students. You know, I have a business mind, I work in business, and we keep score all the time. But it's ways to keep score, it's a different way we keep score. It's easier to track. And so I need more information before I can give you a real answer on that question. I know it's coming down the pike. It's been talked about, how to evaluate staff people, how to reward staff people, give them incentive. But I'm also a little hesitant and leery about it till I get more of the facts, because it's going to be a tough way to keep score, in my opinion. So, long answer to a kind of a short question is, I need more information. How do I feel about it? I'm not opposed to it, providing I get the facts and I better understand it. I would like the staff to be part of the conversation. I would like us all to be part of the conversation and discuss it. And that's what I've enjoyed so far on the school board, is when the public comes to the meetings and gives us input, because we're asked to make decisions. And I don't want the decision to be based on how Mark Thomley feels. I want the decisions to be based on what the community is telling me.
Okay. How do you plan to work with staff as you create a teacher handbook?
How do I plan to work with staff? I really want to make it my goal, if I get elected for the next 3-year cycle, to get to know more of the staff. I had made the comment a little earlier how few of the staff I know, really, who was hiding here behind the camera, didn't know her. Didn't know what if I'd met her in the street before I got on the school board. I didn't know what she did. Nothing against her. So I want to make it my goal to get to meet more of the staff. I think right now there's kind of a bridge between a school board member and the staff. And I heard the comment once that they won't talk to you and tell you honestly what they feel for fear of reprisal or something negative coming back. And you know, I understand that thought process, and I want to try to work, and I don't know how yet, but I want to try to work to make them feel that they can come talk to me or say, hey Mark, there's a problem here we don't like, and not worry about a reprisal or something negative happening to them, because I need them to communicate with me. I don't want to just get one side of the story and then make a decision. I want to hear the staff's side of the story. I want to hear the community's side of the story. And then I'll put it together and make my best decision possible.
Okay. What are the current positives and negatives that you see in our school district?
Well, I see a lot of positives. I mean, it's easy to criticize the youth of this generation. I remember reading a quote, and here I'm on camera, and I can't remember the guy who wrote the quote, but he was a famous person. And he was bad-mouthing the story